Hello, this is Debbie, and this is Light Up Your Worth. I'm so excited to have you here this week, and you are just going to love this week's guest. Lori McDowell, PhD, is CEO of Reimagined You Strategies and the author of the Reinvention Mindset. Lori is passionate about helping individuals find joy and fulfillment in business and life. As a speaker, Lori shares her story of how she reinvented herself by tapping into her belief that we can't control what happens and we have a choice what we do with it. So she is also a TEDx speaker, and she believes it is never too late to make a change, and we all have the power to reinvent our reality. Welcome, Lori.
Hi, Debbie. I'm really happy to be here. Hello, everyone.
Yes. I love that you are really diving into, reinventing yourself. And I'm really curious to learn how you started that. I'm going to assume that you reinvented yourself.
I did reinvent myself. And you mentioned I have a PhD. You didn't mention that my PhD is in chemical engineering. And what I do now is not a whole lot of chemical engineering. And I worked in chemical engineering in corporate America for over 30 years. And I didn't hate it, yet I didn't love it. But, it was a great job. I had great coworkers. It paid the bills, good salary. Everything on paper looked like it was amazing. And one day, I like to say I was given my freedom not too long ago. And when it happened, I just realized like I don't want to do that anymore. That's not what I'm passionate about. That's not what when I was, 12 or 13 and I wanted to change the world, that's not what I thought I wanted to do. I wanted to do something more important, more purposeful, more moving, and still didn't know what it was. I was almost 60 years old, and I still was wondering, "Okay, what am I gonna do with my life now?" But I basically
Hmm.
said, "Well, I have time to figure it out." So I always wanted to write a book. Let's start by writing a book.
Wow. I love that. I love that you just really went back to that younger child of what she wanted to do to change the world.
Yeah, we all have dreams, and so often we forget our dreams.
Hmm.
And I figured I have a chance. Maybe let me go back to those and see what is it. And in writing, I wrote the book, The Reinvention Mindset, and I hope it helps a lot of people. Yet I think I wrote it really to help myself because as I was writing the book, I was reinventing my life. So as I'm going through, every chapter I wrote was a chapter that helped me. I'm like, okay, well, it helped me. Maybe it'll help someone else too.
Hmm. Now, what are some of the beliefs that, whether it's for you or the people that you're working with, that you've seen come up, especially with a huge career transformation?
Right. Yeah. I guess the biggest belief is that we all have inside of ourselves the ability to really do whatever we want. We can create the life we want, and it doesn't have to do with our education or our upbringing. I mean, like, I actually heard someone say last week when I was at a retreat that we're all created by God, and because of that, we can be no less and no more than God. And I was like, wow, it's like that's kind of neat. So we all are perfect beings and we have everything we need. So many of us don't follow that. We kind of get caught up in a job or a business or life and we kind of lose. So I think the biggest thing I learned was you have to trust that you can do what you want. You have to believe in yourself. And that belief has to be like really deep that I believe this is going to happen. If I've set my intention, I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know why, but it's going to happen. And you have to realize that everything that happens outside of you is outside your control, but you have complete control over what you do with it. So, you can decide that something's going to make you devastated and miserable, or you can decide that you're going to learn from it and you're going to go on and be happy and take it as a
Hmm.
learning. And I think those are really important when you're trying to reinvent yourself that believe that whatever you want to do is possible, that you already have everything you need, and be willing to know that the stuff outside of you is not what's important. It's really what's in your heart.
Hmm. Yeah, really being in line with what we're hearing from ourselves, our heart, our intuition, really super important for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned intuition because like I said, as a chemical engineer, I lived on the, the logical side of my brain. And
Mhm.
I'm sure I had intuition, but I probably ignored it for most of my life.
Mhm.
And when I left the job and I was deciding what to do and started writing the book, it almost came from my intuition. Like it led me what I was writing. And when I decided after that, gee, I really love this. I think I want to get certified and learn to be a life and a mindset coach. I took these coaching programs, and what they were teaching me was what I already had written in my book, which was kind of interesting. I mean, they went into a lot more detail, but the major things are like, okay,
Mhm.
well, I guess my intuition already knew it. I didn't know it, but my intuition did. So,
Yeah, that's so funny. I did that, I don't know, it's been 25 years, close to 25 years, and I'm certified as a Lean Six Sigma
mm,
sensei as well. And when I remember taking those classes, a lot of the tools, not the statistics so much, but a lot of the other tools that you use, I was like, "Oh, I've been doing that. I didn't know that had a name," like some of the
yeah.
questions and, how you would approach things. And so it's always so funny how we know more about most things already. The wisdom is already innately in us.
Yeah, that's so true. It's in us, and and the connections and the things that a lot of times we just don't see those signs, or when things happen, you knew this or something you're thinking about and it just happens, and it's like, oh, it's really cool, and it's like that probably happens all the time, and you just ignored it for so long. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think we all know so much more, inside of us that we did, and we're our biggest limits. We're the ones that stop ourselves from doing things, and sort of reinventing yourself is you have to really stop stopping yourself and just let yourself go. Just accept I can do this, and I'm going to do it now or tomorrow or as many times as I want.
Yeah. Now, do you have any guidelines or any process? I used to say process steps, but do you have any guidance along the way if somebody is looking to reinvent themselves?
I do. I think the first thing if you're looking to reinvent yourself, you really need to kind of discover who you are, what you want, why you want it, and really deep look into yourself. Like go back to what's my why, what really lights me up, and then go back to, what are my goals? What would make me happy? What's keeping me there? And really, I think it's important to, if you're going to do any of this work, to have some type of a mindfulness practice, whether it's meditation or breath work, just something where you're quiet and you sit with yourself
Mhm.
and you kind of get inside yourself, because it is all there, but it's not always obvious. And the more you learn to listen to that, it'll tell you what's your why. It'll come to you, and what's
Mhm.
important to you and where you want to go. It all comes to you once you let it. And then I said, then figuring out what's holding you back. And that's where I think most people need help. It's really hard to say, well, this is holding me back and I'm going to let it go on your own. I couldn't do it on my own. I did it with
Yeah.
help. Most
Yeah.
people, that's where having a coach or someone who's, can help you get to that, because you can't really, I love the quote, you can't read the label from inside the jar, and
I
you're
was
living
just
your
gonna say that.
life. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
one
so
of
you
my
need
new
help with
favorite
that.
sayings. Yeah.
It is. I love it. It applies to so much.
It is. We really can't see our own blind spots. Like,
No.
we can get stuck in our head going around and round, and we really can't see it whatsoever.
No, we make everything so much harder than it has to be when we're, like, in our head. I mean, things like that where someone else might just say, give you some clear way to just stop it and, get rid of it, release it, or so that's where, getting help is really important. Don't try to do it alone. There's people who can help you. We don't have to do it alone. I mean, you can try to do it alone, but what might take you 20 years to figure out, you can figure out in a couple months with help.
Yeah, I really like too how you mentioned the whole having, a mindfulness practice of, whether it's meditation or breath work. And I have found breath work, I also meditate, but breath work is really powerful to bring things up out of your stored in your body.
It is. It's incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
I remember having a lot of resistance towards it when my coach was encouraging me, right, to use the breath work that she had created for me. And I remember having so much resistance, thinking, oh, But then a guest shared with me that our bodies innately know when we do that deep breathing, that deep belly breathing, that the body knows trauma stored there. So
Mhm.
it is so important to bring it up. So I love that you brought that up into this as part of the whole reinvention process.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's really important. And I remember the first time one of my coaches told me we're gonna do a 90-minute breath work, and my thought was like, "Are you crazy? I can't do that." And it was one of the I mean, it was, I finished the thing and I'm in tears, and it was alter and it was just so powerful.
Mhm.
And, if had you given me the choice, I would have been like, "No, I'm not gonna do a 90-minute. That sounds horrible."
Please push the button. No, fast forward,
Uh,
skip. Uh, yeah. So you have the, mindfulness practices, you have, find somebody to help you through. What other tips would you have for
the one of the other big tips is finding joy and celebrating and really just, you know, celebrate your life, celebrate your wins, celebrate anything you do. Cause I think the more we live in a positivity, the more it fosters itself. You mentioned I did a TEDx talk and that you love music. My TEDx talk stopped with me dancing into the room to a Madonna song. That's
Oh,
how started it. The song wasn't playing, it was playing in my head, but because I think when you're celebrating, when you're positive, when your energy is high, you share that emotion with other people and other people feel that way. And there's actually your brain chemistry, your brain actually then reacts to that. It triggers neurons that tell you how to behave. So if I'm really happy and joyful and celebrating and I see you and get that emotion, your brain actually triggers neurons that say, wow, this person's happy, this person's celebrating, she's positive, you should treat her really well. And when you do that and we just pass it around, it really makes the whole world a better place. So I think celebrating things and having fun and being playful and being joyful makes everything else easier. I mean, it doesn't sound like, oh, if I have fun and I play and I'm joyful, my work's going to get done quicker. But it really does because one, you're more open to it and the people around you that you work with are more open to it. So it really helps your business because it brings everybody up to that higher energy.
mhm. Yeah, I think we've all noticed that, right? When, like, if we use peanuts, if Linus walks into the room, or was it with Winnie the Pooh,
Yeah, the donkey,
yeah, the
yeah,
Eeyore, right?
yeah, like, yeah, suddenly you're all like, "Oh." Yeah, and the opposite is true too. I mean, I was out in Sedona at a retreat and, just meeting people. We met this man who was just like this positive, I mean, basically like love personified as a 72-year-old man. And just talking to him was like everybody was like happy like the rest of the week. Like he just was such a positive force that it made everybody else's day and it makes then the rest of everything you else do so much more positive.
Yeah, it does make such a difference. I remember taking a workshop many, many years ago, and one of the tips that they had told us to try to see if it would, help, right? It was all about empowering women in relationships, was every time you pass somebody to just smile. And it sounds so simple. Oh, what? Like not be on your phone, not be avoiding them, but just
Mhm.
simply smile and start to see the reactions of people because we don't really know what's going on with them.
No. It could make a huge difference in someone. I mean, you could smile at someone who's depressed and, thinking of horrible things, and that one smile could change their life. So, yeah, I love that. I love smiling at people in odd play. I
Mhm.
mean, it's kind of maybe a little strange, but like I like to, one of the games I play, I hate driving in traffic, and traffic used to stress me out. And when I was stuck in, I would like be freaking out. And now I've just started when I'm stuck in traffic, I try to see how many people I could make smile. So, like, I look at everybody's miserable in traffic, and I look over at the cars, and I smile, and I wave, and it's really fun just to see how can you make someone smile in this horrible situation? And it's amazing. Most people eventually, you won't, but most people will eventually smile when you try it.
Yeah, people tell you to happy down or
Yeah, yeah, they're probably like, "Oh, there's some crazy woman in a car smiled at me in traffic today." But
It makes such a difference, though, such a difference. I remember when I lived out in the Bay Area in California, and I was sitting in traffic to get on to, like, Highway 85, and there was, like, a couple people who had set up outside, and they were just giving when you would stop, they'd come over and ask if you want a cup of coffee, and what do you want in it? And look,
wow.
I don't know, that was 20 odd years ago, right? I can all of a sudden, you talking about how we can make such a difference, I just remember this, and I think to myself, it left such an impression. It's a simple cup of coffee. It's probably Folgers, right? It wasn't
Right.
probably Starbucks, but it was so powerful on how we can really make a lasting impression on somebody and not be
Yeah.
that Eeyore.
No, it's funny. I saw a study where they one of the marathons, I forget which one, but at like mile 2020 or something, he was standing with a sign that said free hugs. And they actually watched how the people like some of the people went clear across the road to hug him, whereas others like kind of went the other way. And then they looked at the times of some of the people that hugged him versus the times of the people that didn't. And if you looked at the last few miles versus the beginning of the race, the
Mhm.
people that hugged him in general went faster that last 5 miles than they did the other 20 miles or so. Like it was just that hug made them run faster.
Yeah. I believe that. Isn't there research that shows that as humans, we need, like, a certain number of hugs per day? Like,
Yeah, I've
8,
something like 7 or
10?
8 hugs a day, yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, so
Yes. So, so powerful. I don't know, I can never get enough hugs either. I'm a hugger. If we meet in person,
yeah, me
I'm gonna
too.
be giving you a hug, whether you know me or not that well, right?
Mhm, I'm the
This
same way.
that's how they're built. I love all these tips. I think they're super powerful for, the audience to be able to take them in if they're going through, and reinventing themselves. Super powerful. So I want to shift gears for us. There's two questions I ask all my guests. And the first one is I'm a huge believer in music. I think it can uplift us, it can change our mood, maybe even help us cry if we need to get it out, instead of a Hallmark movie or something. And I'm curious to learn, Lori, what that song would be for you.
Yeah, God, there's just great question because there's so many of them. I actually have a whole chapter about music where I list my inspirational playlist. One of the songs that just always gets me in a good mood is Madonna's "Get Into the Groove." I mean, I hear that song and I can't not dance. It's like you have to dance. So that's one of them. There's another song. I'm going to give you two, even though you only asked for one. But there's another song that there's a band called Blue October, and they have a song called "Jump Rope." And it talks about how life is like a jump rope, but I love that one too because it's like, they're like up, down, and that's another one that, when I hear it, just if something bad's happening, it's kind of like, all right, we're down, we're gonna go back up. Those
Mhm.
are two. But there's so many of them, and I love music too. I mean, when I my husband laughs at me when I go out walking the dog because I'll if a song comes on, I'll come in the house with my headphones and I'll be dancing all over the place. Or,
I'm that way too. I'm the
yeah,
huge car dancer too. So if we pulled up in
mm,
traffic, I'll be doing my little groove and
that's
wave
funny.
back. Hi.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. I remember when that song came out, I'll age myself, but Into the Groove. Oh my gosh, such a good song. I'm gonna add those to the playlist because 'cause we're on YouTube. The Light Up Your Worth is on YouTube, and so I have a playlist going of all my guest songs,
Oh,
so
that's great.
people
I have
can
to
just
look
tune
that up.
into it. It has all kinds of genres, right? All kinds of
Right.
music and what
That
people
sounds like a great
go
playlist.
to. So, yeah, so it's a lot of fun. Now, my second question is that in this season of your life, with everything you've learned and experienced, if you could go back to the younger version of yourself, what would you tell her about your worth?
I think I would tell her that you are and always have been valuable, amazing, worth so much. And don't ever let anyone else tell you different, that you know how wonderful you are. You were born perfect and you're going to be perfect your whole life. And no matter where you are or what you do, your value stays and don't let anyone else change that. Be true to yourself. As long as you know that no one else can make you feel worse, you have everything you need and you're amazing.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. That's would be really powerful to hear. I think my younger self would like to hear that too.
Mhm.
They can't take it away from you.
No, it's yours. And
I love that, Lori. Now, how can my audience reach you?
my company is called Reimagine You, like you like university, just the letter
Mhm.
strategy. And the website is reimagineyou.net. My email is McDowell, McDowell at reimagineyou.net. So those are good ways. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. LinkedIn, I think I'm just L McDowell or Lori McDowell. I'm easy to find there. And then I'm Lori.McDowell5 on Facebook and Instagram. And if you're interested, like I said, email is a great way to connect with me. I read emails all the time, but if you want to talk, I love meeting people. I'm always happy to just have a call. And that's really simple. It's booklori.com, Lori is Lori, so booklori.com. Get on my schedule. Just tell me, say you heard me here. You just want to have a conversation. I'm happy to talk to anyone because I think meeting people is so much fun and, every connection's worth making. So I'd love to hear from you. Those are the main ways. And then if you're interested in my book, it is on Amazon. It is called The Reinvention Mindset, and you can buy it on Amazon. It's in paperback and ebook right now. And sometime, hopefully before the end of the year, the audiobook will be coming out.
Nice. Very nice. Well, we'll include all of that information in the show notes too. So for those who are driving, hopefully not sitting in traffic or
Smile.
right, they're running in the gym or outside. We want everybody to stay safe. So we'll keep that information in the show notes. So, but this has been so lovely, Lori, for you sharing, all the tips on reinventing ourselves and all the knowledge that could be in your book for the readers. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Debbie. I really enjoyed it. Have a
Okay,
fantastic day.
you too.